This is my 1978 Ford F-250. It's a Lariat. We are going to be taking it across Guadalupe National Park down in northern Texas, southern New Mexico. So let me give you a tour of this thing and show you what we have to work with. We're kind of stuck in the barn here because my brother Marcus has a project going on with this thing. Hopefully he gets out of the way, and we got to get some work done on some cars so we can make some money, maybe buy a trailer. Ideally, we trailer this thing down there. If not, we're gonna have to drive it. It's a few hundred miles. It's gonna be a trip. Anyway, let's take a look around this thing. I'll show you guys what we have to work with here. I've never had to do any work to this thing mechanically. I've only done cosmetic stuff. I had my girlfriend daily driving it. It has a new bed in it. That was a major cosmetic project where I took the whole bed pan out and welded in a new one. Seamed it up nicely and painted everything. The problem was it was a little short, or a little, I don't know, I changed something when I welded it just slightly in, so the tailgate has a little trouble shutting, but it works with a few slams. It has new tires on it. I painted these wheels. When the bed was off, we painted everything underneath, the entire frame. Everything's painted black. So Marcus is working on his truck right now. What all you got to do to get that thing out of here?
So right now I'm lining up the bolt holes on the engine itself to the bell housing on the transmission. I have 2 bolts in it right now holding it together, but it won't come together. And I think it's because of the bolt studs that are on the torque converter itself aren't lining up with the flex plate. So I need to loosen the top 2 bolts that I have in there and then turn the flex plate so that the torque converter bolts come together, and then I think it'll just come back together. So and then it should go pretty quick because I have every part I need for it. But yeah, I paid $800 for this truck. It's a 96 F-250. I bought it without the engine, and then I paid $1,000 for the engine at a scrapyard, and just put it in there. So thrashing to get it back together, and then hopefully sold pretty quickly. So
Cool.
it's a good truck.
Yeah, once he gets this out of here, we can move the old 78 out of here and take it on a road trip. Hopefully we don't have to drive it, but it looks like we might have to if we can't finish some projects and make a few $1,000 to buy a trailer. I did a bunch of body work up here. This was pretty bad. It was all dinged in, and unfortunately a little bit of the Bondo came down the drip rail here. I need to touch up. But it's got, paid $2,000 to have this completely reupholstered in all the original factory materials here. It looks awesome. I'm really happy how that turned out. When it was out, I put a new carpet kit in it and a new stereo. This is a retro sound stereo that has Bluetooth. It looks perfectly original, but it has Bluetooth and an aux underneath. We put a new windshield in it, and it needs a dashboard. That's one of the final things. I put this dome light in here that was cracked. That's about all we did to it. The only mechanical thing I've ever done is replace the battery in here. And unfortunately, some of the mice are trying to make nests in here, and I've been trying to kill them, but But yeah, it's very sound mechanically, so we'll see how this little road trip of ours goes. I would like to trailer it just because we have a buyer in New Mexico who might want it. Let's go take a look outside at our car lot and see what we need to get done so we can hopefully sell a car or two to make money for a trailer. It's a lot of work. Everything needs body work. It sucks, but it's super windy. We're gonna see what we can do. So here's the International. We'll have a video on that. We're taking it to the Badlands. Sorry if you can't hear me, it's very windy. We're gonna take the Toyota pickup to Canyonlands, International to the Badlands. That van, we're just trying to sell it. We were gonna road trip it, but we decided against it. This is the 05 Toyota 4Runner. I just bought a new hood for it because it's hail dented to shit. And the tailgate, I welded in new body panel on this area here and this area here. My welding it's not great, but it gets the job done, you know? And slap some Bondo on top and we have the paint for it. So ideally I get that painted by tonight. And then this guy, the first gen 4Runner, 1986 to be exact. Oh, big old project. This, there were some dents here, so I kind of just filled it in. And that's like a high build primer. It makes it easier to sand and look nice and smooth. You just kind of spray it over the Bondo that you have on there. I'm not very happy with how this turned out. I welded in new panels here, but obviously it's pretty uneven, you can see. So I'll probably hit it with another layer of Bondo. It needs new tires. It needs work on handles and the 9 yards. I bought a new shift knob for it. That was not cheap, but we have one. This whole thing was filled to the top with every single body panel. It was seriously up to here with body panels and mouse turds, and there was no carpet in it. So I put this new carpet kit in here, and we have new speakers that I picked up, slap in here. We need to finish off the bottom of these door panels. I have some vinyl and some foam for the bottom of the door panels there, and every window was covered in tint. It took me hours with heat to peel off the tint. That just looked horrible, and there's still glue on here that we'll have to try to get off somehow. The windshield, for some reason the liner of it here was taken out. I think someone wanted to paint it at some point, so I don't know if that one will fit in there or if we have to get a new one. We'll see. It only has, this is the crazy thing, guys, 76,000 original miles, which is unheard of for a 4Runner. The engine was not running when I bought it. People had been stealing parts from it because it was so disassembled inside. And I found the parts and put everything back together. It has a 4-cylinder under the hood. And the rear window was not working, but with a little messing with these switches here, some finagling, it works, which is huge because snow was blowing in and getting on my fresh new carpet. So it's cool to have that fixed. Still, that door handle doesn't work. This one doesn't, as I have said. Needs a new stereo. I don't know how these speakers are gonna work with the old stereo. I don't know if any of this stuff works. I would think it does. Yeah, the upholstery is pretty nice. I took it out. I took everything to the car wash and just power blasted it. A little ripped up, but it's a cool rig. Let's see, it needs a little more body work. Oh, I put this bumper on here. They took everything off. When I mean everything. I think they were trying to paint it. Every piece of rubber, you know, all this stuff. That was all taken off. Door panels, the whole 9 yards. This was shattered. We replaced this. That looks pretty nice. And here's the other side. More welding. Crazy amount of welding and grinding to get to this point. And then we put Bondo over top. Probably needs a little more. And then we can get it painted. We have cool factory original decals for the side of this thing. That will look really cool. Oh yeah, a little more Bondo here. Needs tires. Let's look under the hood. Oh, I'm gonna mess up my towel. Anyway, it's got the 22 RE. It was missing all of these lines, were just kind of miscellaneous, but luckily I had another first gen 4Runner at the time, so I could align everything up, you know, all the spark plug wires and this stuff. I don't think the radiator was in it, but man, when this thing fired up, it's the smoothest running 4-cylinder Toyota I've ever seen, probably because it has so little mileage on it. And it was just sitting. It was sitting for 10 years and it fired just like that. Ran smooth as a top. I don't know if that's a saying. Ran smooth. So this is our Pathfinder. We kind of daily this thing. We hit a fence with it. So I replaced this bumper and painted it. That's the beater with the heater. We got a little roof rack on top for the snowboards. So this guy is what we want to take the 78 F-250 all the way down to New Mexico with. It runs awesome. It's a good old Suburban with the 5.7 V8. You know, basic hauler. It does the job. I only paid $2,000 for this thing. I think it's worth $5 easily. So there's that. That doesn't need any work. That's awesome. But the Nova needs a lot of body work everywhere. But we cleaned it out the other day. It's looking real nice. Still some paw prints on the back seat. The carpet was disgusting. There was squirrel shit everywhere. We put a new headliner in it. It's a 4-speed manual transmission, and it has a 350 V8 with dual exhaust coming out the back. It sounds awesome. We have all the body panels. They're sitting over there. I need to put them back in here. Let's look at this side. Not horrible on this side. Pretty bad. Pretty bad down here. I have a patch panel for this, so hopefully we can get to that. The door doesn't want to shut. It needs new hinge pins, which I have ordered and will be putting in once they arrive. Here's the dual exhaust out the back. Sounds awesome. Sounds better than any other car here. Almost forgot, this is the hood I picked up for the 4Runner. Someone already did all the body work on it. So I think it'll look pretty nice with some paint. But I don't know if I can paint. It's too windy and a little bit rainy too. So I don't really know. Maybe I'll start welding on the Nova. Weld in the rain, right? What? We'll do the Nova after we do this. Because I don't really care. It's got 240,000 miles on it. Who really cares? I'm just gonna spray it. The wind's probably gonna mess it up, and the rain too. Let's see how it goes. Wait, no, don't you have to tape off the lights first before you paint? Right? No. That's all you need. Look at that. Just roll the window up. That's why I need a 4Runner. I just rolled it up in there and we're good to go. I think we're ready, folks. Mother Nature had other plans today. I have to take a break from this and get back to it. Maybe we can work on the speakers in the old 4Runner. We called it a night last night, but we got up early this morning to put the new windshield in this thing. We're down in town and we're gonna have a guy fix this for us. Fixing it on our Pathfinder as well, so we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Check it out. Brand new. I love how a new windshield looks. So we got it back and we retaped the back of this thing off. We are going to hit it with a dual action sander, kind of get some of that primer sanded down because there's a bunch of little dots from when it was raining last night. So we'll get it sanded nicely and then it should be ready for paint. There we go. It honestly looks like shit, but it looks better than it did, and it's not gonna rust anymore because we welded in patch panels. So if it were my car, I wouldn't care. I'm sure a buyer will care, but I think we'll be good. I ran out of paint for the new hood I bought right here, so I'm just gonna sell the 4Runner with the hail dents on the hood and then include this one. I ordered more paint for it, but it won't be here for a while, so I might as well list it and go from there. The last thing I'm gonna do to this 4Runner is pour some cat clean in the fuel tank. We have a check engine light for the catalytic converters, and I tried clearing it to see if it would just stay off, but it came right back. So we're gonna throw this in. Hopefully it'll clean up the cats. And yeah, it says to throw it in when you have a quarter tank left, so hopefully that'll clear it, and hopefully I don't have to buy a new cat for this thing, because now that I'm a licensed dealer, I legally am required to sell cars that have passed emissions here in Colorado. Pretty dumb, but it's what we have to do. All right, we sanded and put some more Bondo on here, trying to get it as flat as possible on top of the panels I welded in. Now, while I let that Bondo dry, we're working on the door panels here, and this guy's completely missing the piece of wire that goes to the little latch over here. You can see over here, we've got the wire coming to the handle. So I found this. I think this will work. The speaker's working. New speakers put in. I just messed with the stereo, and it was just the fuse wasn't even in the fuse block, so it might be a little easier in the dark to find the level of these pieces I filled in. We're gonna sand it again and see if we're at the right level. If not, we'll have to slap on another layer. The same goes for the rear fender. While I'm working on sanding down this Bondo and trying to make it as flat as possible, I can't help but remember back to when we were in Kauai. This surfboard up here on top of my van came from a master surfboard, I guess craftsman. I don't know what you'd call a surfboard maker, but he had lights coming perfectly level out of the wall to the top of the surfboard. So when they're sanding it, you can see the little divots because the light will shine right over the divots. I'm trying to use the same method here on the Bondo. See that spot there? You can see where the light is shining a little bit brighter. It means that's a low spot. There you go. You can tell right there. Those are the low spots. So we're gonna hit it with another round of Bondo and sand it again. Trying to make it as smooth as possible. We finally got the old girl out. It turns out the battery was bad in it. Luckily, I had a 2-year warranty on it, so I just took it in, and we're gonna get a new one tomorrow. But thanks to Marcus, he pulled it out with his Wrangler. Got the garage cleared out. I spent way too much time on this thing today, letting the Bondo dry. We finished up the stereo and some of the door handles, but everything works good with the doors at least. So I need to get to sanding this, and tomorrow we're gonna hit the road with the beast. We ran out of Bondo last night, so we called it a night, but we got up early this morning and we picked up a battery for the 78 F-250. It was warranted, so we got it for free. And we also washed off this 4Runner in the process so we can take pictures and hopefully get it listed before we head south. We're heading all the way to southern New Mexico today. We'll see how far we get in the old 78. Found a nice spot to take pictures of this thing. This is just in the back of our property out here. Cool view of the reservoir. All right, the coolant looks a little bit low, so we're gonna top it off, and then we're gonna throw this new battery in here, see if it'll fire up. It starts. It hasn't started in a while, so I don't know. We'll give it a try. This truck has never failed me. As for the vacuum you're hearing in the background, we're gonna pull it over this way, and I'm gonna spray it off, and I think I'm gonna give it a good polish and wax before we hit the road. I recruited some help. How long have we been doing this? Like 2 hours? But we're finally done. Looks way better. Sun's about to set, so we'll probably be driving in the dark for the most part tonight. Spent the entire afternoon polishing, so it's pretty late, but we are all packed. We got a giant piece of foam, so we'll be comfy. We got a tent, food underneath it, stove for cooking, and then obviously our bags with clothes and the drone.
And a pillow.
Comfort. So we decided to take this big bin because you can roll it. It's got wheels back here. And I had all my 4Runner parts in here, so we just took it out. But that'll make it a little easier. So if we sell the Ford, we'll have something to buy. Well, we'll look for something to buy, and we can just throw this in the back. We're about to leave, and Maple's just sitting here, giving us puppy eyes, looking all sad. So I guess she's coming with. Are you coming with?
You coming? You coming?
We're burning moonlight. We gotta hit the road.
Yup.
Are you ready? Are you excited or nervous?
Maple's ready. I'm pumped. If the brakes are good, I'm good.
Made it to our first fuel up, and the fill up tube I did not tighten properly, so we got a little leak. I think we're just gonna top it off anyway and tighten it at the next stop. We also have this rear tank we can fill up. Time to check some fluids. Let's see what we got for oil. Looks like we might need to add a little bit. The thing about Buc-ee's is they have ethanol-free gas. Good for these older Fords and older cars. I decided I should just fix it now before we hit the road. It looks like I didn't even tighten the tube back down when I put the bed back on this thing, so it's just my dumbassery, but it's not a hard job. I might as well, so I'm not spewing gas down the highway. First try, right size, let's go. I came prepared with gloves too, so no issues there getting gas everywhere. You don't want gas on your hands and shit when you're on the road. I know I look like a bitch, but what is it? Ham
It's
sandwich?
just like, I think it's turkey. The only bad thing is the bread.
Solid.
And
What else did you get?
I got pineapple. I got this shit. And then I got this for you because you're so picky. I was going to get you something, but I just know you weren't going to eat it. So I just got your favorite.
Can't go wrong with meat, right?
Nope. Giant meat stick in your mouth. Here you go.
Thank
and
you.
Cheese. Oh, and then I got myself kombucha, and you can have some too. So.
This gas station is a straight supermarket inside. It's nuts. Back on the road. The cool thing about this trip is the first start, at least half of it is just I-25 the whole way. So we're on the same road for the majority of the trip, so we don't need navigation or anything. What do you say about that, Maple? We made it to Denver, and we're still cooking. It's doing good. It's running cool, and we have good oil pressure. It's almost 3:30 a.m. and we finally made it to our campsite. We're in New Mexico, just barely, and I'm gonna set up the tent. We're at a little campground. Come here, Maple.
You can see by his face. I don't think he likes tents. He's like freaking out. This is an interesting camp spot.
Indeed.
You're taking this part right now?
Taking it apart on top of you.
No. Don't do that. Whoa, wait.
Whoa! Jump. 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 Not. No. Jump. Jump. No start. I think there's a fuel line underneath that was loose before, and that's my guess. So otherwise, if we can't fix it, we're stranded here. I just tried it again and it worked. I don't know what the issue was. It's leaking oil like crazy, so I don't want to run it too long. We got to get to a gas station as soon as we can and put some oil in this thing. I shut the hood and it died right away. So it turns out this wire was loose, and when I shut the hood, it would just shake a little bit and shut off. So I tightened her up and it seems to be running good. So let's hit the road and get some oil in her. We have good oil pressure at least, even though we're pretty low on oil. It looks like it's at least like a quart low. We just showed the truck to a buyer and they said they want it, and they were really cool. They said take it down to Guadalupe National Park and bring it back and they'll buy it. So we'll see. They might back out, you never know, but that's good. And we're off Highway 25 finally, so we're kind of near central New Mexico now. We have a few more hours before we are in Guadalupe National Park. It's extremely windy out here. The country has basically just looked like this for the past hour. Pulled over to take a little break. Full ass dead cow out here. Pretty creepy. Let's see if we've burned any more oil. I don't know why it was leaking so bad. I put 5W30 in after. Oh, it's perfect. It seems I put 10W30 in, and that's when it was leaking a lot. And 5W30 is a lot more. It's a lot more thick. And it's leaking a lot less now, so it looks good. We've been driving for an hour or two, and nothing's changed. So maybe we fixed it with just a little bit thicker oil. Mabel has her own little spot. Where are we, dude? Walking down the side of the highway, we broke down on the side of the road. I asked for an adventure and I got one, so we're out of gas. One of the tanks I switched it to. There's a switch because there's two tanks. One of them I'm 90% sure ran out of gas, but when I switched it to the other one, I'm getting nothing. I'm wondering if the switch just isn't working anymore. So I'm just gonna walk to this gas station and try to fill it up. There's a gas station up there. It's not too far, but we just got an Amber Alert for a sandstorm warning. It's a little sketchy. Winds are blowing like crazy. It's starting to get pretty sandy. I can taste the grit on my teeth. The situation could be a lot worse. The temperature's real nice, and we're not far from this gas station. I'm just hoping this fixes it, because I don't know why it's not switching to the other tank, if that's even the issue. That was clutch. Just got a good drive. Already back in the truck. Back.
You're back.
Okay, which
Did
one?
someone give you a lift?
Yeah, someone picked me up.
Oh, nice.
Which one of these is the tank that we were on?
Well, does it say it's full on the other one? So
Okay,
Probably the one.
The main.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try to fill that one up. Spilling everywhere. God damn it. Let's see if this works. Yep. So I guess the switch doesn't work. So we can only use the main tank. But it's running. My God. Thank God she's running. All right, onward. We made it to the gas station, and she needs power steering fluid for sure. This is not really the right stuff, but it's better than no fluid. Pulling up to the Guadalupe National Park, Guadalupe Mountains. We made it basically all the way across Colorado and New Mexico in the old 78 F-250. We had a few issues, but we're here. We made it. We made it. This is a campsite, and it says it's reserved, but it's already almost midnight, so I think we're just gonna steal it. Unless there's someone over here. Nah, we're definitely chilling. We stole this campsite. We're not even paying for it. And this beef has to be cooked, so I'm cooking at midnight. It might be bad. It was sitting out all day. If I'm throwing up everywhere from food poisoning, this is why. A little bit of jam in the burger. Oh, maybe. No. Eating this at midnight is wild. Good morning from Guadalupe National Park. We actually made it. Probably, how many miles do you think it was? Lots of miles in the old Ford. So this was the goal, and we're here. This campsite was reserved, but we showed up late and nobody was here, so we just took it. I think we only broke down 3 times. We ran out of gas once. It wouldn't start the first night we camped. The locking hub started making noise, so we had to pull over and keep the hubs locked because one of the hubs is bad. When we ran out of gas, I got gas all over my pants, so hence the red pants. In Guadalupe National Park, you're not allowed to take your dogs on the trail, so we are off trail. I'm gonna go try to climb up there. Whoa. Climbed up that chute. Got a little climbing in. We gotta hit the road out of the park because we have to go sell the truck and look at a Jeep to buy. We're dirty as fuck.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're on the road for a few days straight. Look up, no, she's dirty, look. That's a nice rock if I've ever seen one. Got a nice little tree, little perfect setting. Just have to chill right here. Is that a good hike, Maple? Yes. Shout out Anna for the brownies.
Shout out Anna Marcus. Thank you.
Give me
First
that.
hike brownie.
Go get one. TheseOutdoors.com. Unfortunately, we didn't stay too long in the national park because this guy with a Jeep Cherokee, he could only meet today, so we're gonna see if we can buy it up in Albuquerque, and that way we'll have a way to get back when we sell this old Ford, if it sells. So, got anything to say?
This is the best jerky ever.
We're almost to Albuquerque, but it just turns out that it starts snowing like crazy. You can see on the windshield. It's hard to see out of this thing. It's kind of sketchy. We have a buyer lined up and we're driving through shit like this. It's not ideal. Maybe we'll just stay the night in Albuquerque and meet him in the morning. We have picked up a beater. I didn't want to pay $2,000 for this thing, but that's what I paid. But for $2,000, it'll do the job. It has like 240,000 miles, and it's got a check engine light. It's missing fenders. Its tailgate doesn't work. No windows work. Door locks don't work. There's no heater. There's no stereo. But I got the stereo from that guy's other Cherokee. I did not want to pay $2,000, and I told him, is there a stereo you can include in that price? And he said, yeah. So we got a stereo. I pulled it out of his red Cherokee in his parking lot, or in his driveway, I mean. So at least we'll have a way to get home if they end up buying this thing. Let's see how it goes. We're gonna get a hotel here. We just ate at the best place on earth, Cracker Barrel. And we're in Albuquerque. We're gonna sleep. We got a 2-hour drive in the morning. Hopefully sell this thing, and then road trip the beater all the way home. We're leaving Albuquerque. It is pretty snowy here, surprisingly, and our route, there's going to be quite a bit of snow. We got a 2-hour drive ahead of us, so hopefully it's not too bad with the snow. And then we can get this truck sold and hopefully make it home in our beater Cherokee. I believe that's a wall of fog that we're about to drive into. Oh geez. We just saw a truck rolled over on the side. It's not horrible, but I think we can manage. But it's not ideal driving an old 78 Ford, especially a classic car like this that's pretty pristine. Is that a semi-truck? God damn. I'm trying to pull it out right now. Oh man. Completely mangled. Jeez. Another truck. No, not as bad, but damn, he's deep. The Ford is gone. She gone. She's sold. And now I'm more nervous to drive this thing back, honestly. It's quite a beater, but if something breaks, I can figure it out. Cherokees are easy to work on.
It's a Cherokee.
It's a Cherokee. What do we have, like 7 hours? I don't know.
That sucks. But you can kind of speed in this thing, so
Yeah.
we'll be good.
Well, that basically concludes everything. I mean, actually, no, we might break down, so.
You might.
That concludes our trip. We made it back to the ranch, back to the car lot. We're gonna get to work on some of these things. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, see what we can do with some of these rigs. Beater made it back, no issues. Maybe we'll put a lift on it. We'll see. I don't know what to do with this thing yet.